Man, listen. This entire episode was
emotional damage.
Seriously. We are back with episode 7 of season 3 of
This episode's title is What Have I Done? But honestly, we know what this actual title is because after last week, it's Invincible War, and the Invincible War is just this episode, and this episode is complete and utter devastation.
Yeah, seriously, I feel for him, man. I feel for Mark. You know, and then listen, I kept saying y'all, this season he doesn't catch a break and it doesn't change because it gets worse. It gets worse for him. Even after this episode, how it ended, for what's coming next week.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. But yeah, this.
So what was your thoughts? We get all the evil variants of Mark from different, realities, different Earths and stuff. But at the same time, you're also getting, Angstrom. He's coming back, and basically what he's been doing this whole time. He didn't die. The episode start off with him basically going into a different reality, getting fixed up, by alien species, which is in the comics and stuff like that. So, and honestly, this comic was verbatim, like what they did in the episode was almost verbatim, like certain shots that they recreated in this. But though, I'm glad there are certain things they cut out for the sake of time, because timing wise, like okay, that wouldn't be a good story beat right now. It's just too much. It's cutting the belly fat, but at the same time having a lot of Easter eggs for future seasons with different characters and stuff. But what was your thoughts in terms of the variants? And we had different ones who gave a little bit of their backstory and all stuff, but like, what was
honestly, it's just seeing. It's like after getting Angstrom, like, how did he survive and all that, and just seeing all of these different marks coming to this universe and just laying waste to everything. Like, he gave them an order: destroy everything and make everybody hate Invincible. And he got what he wanted, even if it didn't fully go towards his way in the end. He got what he wanted because major cities get destroyed by all these variants, and all these variants, bruh. Steven Yeun had to do so much for this, and it's like you can hear ones that sound psychotic, you can sound ones that sound like they're dying inside, you can hear ones that sound like they're from fucking Boston with some accents, but all of them you could almost tell either by costume or by what they say where their universes deviate from this universe, and like, I killed my father. Do you think that you can stand up to me? Or one that's dressed like Omni-Man, or one that, did conquer the Earth, but he does actually miss his mother. Like, you can tell specifically with the one that fought the Guardians of the Globe, he was young and psychotic.
Like a psychotic one, but then the first one, like, now if you read the comics, they're like favorites. Obviously that you have, but particularly like
Mohawk in particular.
Mohawk Invincible, and because he was just saying, like, like the way he was laughing and everything. And I shout out to Steven Yeun playing, like, honestly 17 different characters of the same character, and stuff like that, right? In real time, and stuff. Now,
and having conversations with himself too, and it not seeming weird, because again, it's hard to do something like that, but especially when you have it with just 2 duplicates of somebody. But that's like in one scene, I think it was at least 5 or 6 talking to one another amongst Angstrom, and it just seemed seamless,
right? And I don't feel like I know actors who've done this, because even Phil Lamar was talking about this when he recorded the Static Shock episode, how he's voicing Virgil and voicing Jon Stewart, both having a conversation. He said, I have to record it separately because you just but this year I thought he did, in terms of distinction of the same character, not different characters, but but alternate versions, I thought was good. But yeah, I thought, some of them, the backstory is like some of I really want to go into, but like, obviously, I mean, they don't do that much in the comics, but For some of them they do, but not all of them. Like there's the more sinister Mark, which is the black and yellow one with the cape, and stuff, and then you have the Viltrumite Mark, or there's two Viltrumite Mark, one's with a mustache, one with not.
Yeah.
Viltrumite prison Mark, which is a burnt up, crisp, one.
And even his voice sounds a little raspy too in there.
Yeah. Now there was you have the Omni Mark, which is in the Omni Man's outfit and everything, and then the other one was the Grifter Mark, which is called Grifter because he looks like Grifter from the comics, like what he's supposed to be. That's the whole parody of it, because this kind of play off of Marvel and DC, and stuff. But Grifter, with the mask and everything. But aside from that, I like that they showed that even interaction with the other alternate ones, like this plan wasn't going to go as the way Angstrom called it. He's like, no, we already conquered, destroyed most of it. Was just planning and everything, and then like you didn't give us what we want. And it's like, we can kill you, we killed other U's before, so it's like which is interesting how they played it out though. But I'm glad they kind of wrapped it. Like, now I don't think the multiversal arc is over.
Far from it. We're not done with that yet.
Yeah, but aside from this, is like Mark, all of a sudden he's showing up and everybody's on the news and stuff and saying like, oh well, all different Invincibles are attacking and stuff, right? And then Eve don't know what to do. Everybody's in chaos. Mark's mom is like, I gotta get the heck out of here, and then luckily she did. Some of them like, Mom, can you help me? Oh man, I wanted to kill you again.
Man, I thought that would work. Yeah, no, which again is why I'm saying, like, I think none of the Debbies in their realities ever moved on. They're either dead or they never moved on from Nolan, because none of them would have thought to go to Paul's house, which is where she was the whole time.
Well, yeah, not only that, it was also like some of them was like saying, oh, I killed my dad. I killed, Nolan and everything and stuff. So so it was interesting just to see that certain dialogue. Now, there was one interaction when he was fighting one like wolf monster. Now, you read the comics. This was an interaction with Spawn when he said, I kill you before, I can kill you again. But technically, they're supposed to be a Spawn in this world. But legally, they can't, put Spawn.
Yeah,
unlike what they did with this whole Spider-Man stuff last year. Like, they were able to play off of it to at least get that by. And then also the Batman stuff. But with Spawn, it's totally different.
Yeah, no, it's like comic wise, Invincible is in the same universe as a lot of the Image characters, like Spawn and Savage Dragon, and Sonya Blade. But it's like it's Stellar Blade. But in terms of what they're able to do with Amazon Prime and Skybound, is like there are just certain characters that they can't. So if it could have been Spawn, it could have been. Just like how if it could have been Spider-Man last year, it could have been. But just rights issues get in the way of what they were able to do, what Robert Kirkman was able to do originally in the comics. Some things are, easy to do there, but you got a lot of hurdles to go through to even remotely get that close in animation or live action.
Yeah, and I let it slide. I mean, really, because at this point, this episode will rather rely on the Easter eggs within its own universe, because you get some.
Right.
Our first introduction to Tech Jacket, which I don't think they
said his name. They didn't say his name, but again, Tech Jacket's honestly one of my favorite like spin-off characters of the Invincible comics, just because of how it feels distant but connects in a really good way, especially when we get to the return of someone we haven't seen that much of in this season, but that's for later. But again, seeing him and seeing the other characters as well that we have yet to see in the Invincible universe just out there fighting these other marks, it's like, oh, now they're here, and who knows, maybe season 4 we'll get a little bit more of them, just depending on what story we are going to go up to in season 4.
Yeah, and I also, I don't know how you felt about this. Like, to me, the way that they kind of cap this off again is like Mark has been all this grief and everything, but also the heroes had a realistic reaction of actually attacking him, but then they got over it. They didn't bleed us over where other people were like fighting the Mark Prime, but like, because they just knew, oh yeah, this is the real one. Everyone else will get him, You know what I mean? Like I like, they didn't kind of bleed over that, trope of just like, oh, they're just attacking everybody who see his face and stuff. But
Yeah, no, I'm
yeah,
glad that they were smart enough to be like, okay, we know what our Invincible looks like, and so far none of these others match his current black and blue costume. So we're not going to do the whole heroes fighting heroes trope that is played out sometimes. We're gonna be like, look, we know that our Mark is not doing this, and he's right there. So any other Invincible we see is fair game. And also, just for the aftermath of things as well, they know it wasn't him, but as Angstrom says, is like Invincible, at least for now, is going to be remembered as a group of invaders that took down a bunch of major cities across the world.
yeah. And I also man, this cameras look good. Man, look at this. It's crazy, sweetheart. Shout out to my wife. Shout out to my wife. Hook me up with the camera. Like I can see everything. I can see all the strands of hair and everything apart. Surfboard. I actually need to get it. I had to got a haircut. But anyway, no, but with that, all different marks and stuff like that, you get a returning character from last week's episode to show up like Invincible.
Yeah, power
you pay for your crimes against humanity,
bro.
And at that moment, every time we saw him, I was like this.
I am sick. I am sick of your shit. And when I'm not sick, I'm tired. I am sick and tired.
Now, I feel for you. You killed your own wife and child. That's you. I felt sorry for you.
That is you. Like, it's weird with Powerplex because again, he escapes prison, but what he does is that he actually ends up fighting off the alternate Invincibles. Hell, by the end of the war, you see him helping people. So it's not like his full moral compass is gone, but it's just, and literally seeing Invincible is like a dog going rabid the moment they see like a squirrel. He's just like, I got to attack, even though every other person with a brain, at least most of the superheroes, no, that was Angstrom Levy and alternate marks that are not heroes. We know who our Invincible is, but it's like it's just a trick. It's a trigger for him. Invincible's a trigger for him to just go ham.
But I just felt like it was realistic. But then it's like, out of all people, like, okay, if that was happening, I didn't know what was gonna happen this episode. So I was like, I knew the Invincible were gonna happen. I'm like, well, you just locked this dude up, give him something to, Invincible to kill. But at the same time, like, hey, but he's actually insane. This is, again, the issues with unforgiveness is not the fact that we don't understood where the unforgiveness came from. It's the fact of now your actions are having consequences where you're not in the process of healing. You're just creating a lot more destruction because you won't learn to let it go. Not that you're not wrong for what happened. It's just the fact of it had been bled to many other bad things. But with that, I also like the fact that you had especially Eve was getting injured, that they're also showing the ramifications of like her, and again, even connecting her special, like the little girl that she was playing with in the treehouse, but in the special, she died in this episode.
Off screen, her mom, well, first off, Mark got to finally meet Eve's parents, though it was in the worst way possible while she was in the hospital. But we know now, again, this is why some of this stuff is like really good. It's like you have that Adam Eve special that almost feels like it's in its own bubble, but it's like, no, now we have a revelation of where the friend is. Sadly, she's 6 feet under, but it's good to get that connectivity there. And again, it's not just Eve, especially a lot of our favorite characters. Oh god, we gotta talk about it. We have to talk about it. We gotta talk about it.
Go ahead. Talk.
So, Guardians get attacked, and Teen Team, we're not even gonna go there right now. Get attacked. Most of the Guardians are their status. Immortal got his head ripped off. Duplicate's fine, and Immortal gets reborn again. Martian got split in half, but his important part that would keep him alive was still there, so he reformed. But Darkwing is presumably dead. Now, those who read the comics know the truth, but he's presumably dead. In terms of Teen Team, everyone made it out except for one. Yep.
Rest in peace, homie. Rex
Rex
went out with a
Rex
bang.
died. He literally, when the whole thing began, he was helping Shrinking Ray move into her apartment. Then the war began. He's like, I'll be right back. Famous last words. He sacrificed himself to take down one of the marks by turning his own skeleton and exploding that. There's probably no remains of him left, except for maybe some costume bits. But yeah, no. Rex is dead. And you would think, I'm pretty sure for anybody who didn't read the comics, you would think that you wouldn't feel that way with like season 1 Rex, but Rex has had a huge development since then, like just going from being a jackass to being a lovable jackass and somebody that actually was starting to care, trying to better himself. And with his relationship with Shrinking Ray, who he again had no relation with in the comics, because Shrinking Ray was a guy and died when the Lizard League attacked, but in the show is a girl and survived that. You know, it just added on to his redemption of being a unlikable person to one that you actually cared about. And he gave his life. And that was also the moment that you really, if you weren't feeling the weight of how everything was going with this war, you felt it in that moment, because they cut it. You saw Ray's reaction, you saw Team's reaction as they got away. Monster Girl is in she's in surgery right now, so that is one person in Team that was hurt. But you see their reaction, and you see all of the marks that are dead and all of the heroes that are either dead or incapacitated. And the major cities again across the world, like America was New York, Washington DC, Chicago, but everywhere across the world got attacked. Like, if you didn't feel the weight of things, you felt it here. But yeah, R.I.P. to Rex, man. I was dreading this moment. I was dreading this fucking moment.
It's like, well, else I got to explode my damn skeleton. But like, you know what went out, you know, with the blow, but you know, honorably in a way. Now we'll see how that's going to affect Robot, because that's part of now his new DNA is him, and stuff like that. But yeah, I felt like even the interactions here, like even getting to a point with Oliver jumping in to help him and having Angstrom, and you know, it's like, kill him. They could have got him. Which, by the way, so Angstrom, you know, he basically blocks off, you know, sends all the Invincibles into the abandoned world, whatever that they were in season 2.
Yeah, that he and Mark got trapped in last season, basically. But we're not done with them. Just gonna say we're not done with them.
Yeah,
that's a story for another time.
Yeah, we're not done with them. Now we'll see how that will play out. But how, you know, we now have the round 2 of Angstrom versus Mark. But then it was good to see just, you know, Mark learning, you know, his tricks and everything, and not trying to fly. Like, regardless of people talk about the animation, now as someone who's seen this entire season, I'm gonna tell you, I felt the animation criticism for next week's episode, and you saw a little bit with one character in the end of this episode. I'll acknowledge some of it is not the best. It's like, okay, did you make this episode like last week? Like that's what it was giving. But yeah, anyway, not trying to get your hopes, you know, set up for, you know, disappointment. But I'm like, it's still, next week's episode is still gonna be great. But just animation wise, like, you're seeing Mark, you know, flying away and, you know, away from the portals and stuff. And I just like the way that they animated that. That was good. But also just showing again his strength, because like season 1 Mark wouldn't do this, you know, wouldn't fall for this and stuff. So yeah, I thought it was good just learning that he's gotten stronger, but also gotten smarter, you know. So it was just like that balance there. But the fact he had Angstrom, had him there,
he and then, literally had him. But all he has left of Angstrom is just an arm, because Angstrom got away. And for right now, the people who saved Angstrom, they're like, yeah, no, we're not helping you again. You didn't keep up your end of the deal, so you got 2 options. We can either experiment on you and basically kill you, or you work for us and we'll tend to your wounds. But just know you're our bitch now. So that's basically where Angstrom. That's basically where Angstrom is at this moment. But yeah, don't suspect that to be the end of Angstrom, though. They're just like the other marks. There's still a lot left with him.
Yeah, and you know, as the devastation going on, and everything of the aftermath. Um, you know, Mark thinks this is over. He's just gonna be doing cleanup and everything. All of a sudden, somebody shows up, in which a lot of people had speculation in my series review, non-spoiler video. And everyone's like, "Is Conquest showing up? Is Conquest showing up?" I'm like, I'll just say, guys, they do a really good job pacing the show. That's it. You know.
Yeah. So
and
basically,
also at the time, I couldn't tell you because they were. We didn't get the remaining 2 episodes until like
until recently.
Until recently prior, you know. So, and that was a reason why, because these are very spoilerish, you know, episodes and stuff.
You don't want this like getting out into the wind by accident.
Now, was there a leak from last year about this season, and you see it here? Yeah, like verbatim. Yeah. That was that literally what it is, and you'll see more of it next week's episode. But like, yeah, that's verbatim. Like, there's certain shots like, oh, I've seen that before. But anyway, we see Conquest does show up, and Mark, after this point, he's like, I'm just done. But now after all of this, I just want to hit something really hard. And now, and then now you're here, and then they, have their fight, and then which goes into the finale for next week. So, I think I will tell you, it's an epic fight, probably some of the best fighting of this series so far. But it's going back to season 1 Nolan versus Mark fight, in terms of like emotionally. Like, that's why I feel like in terms of people expectations for next week episode, that's where it's going. And because like, we got good decent fights even in season 2, but like, no, this again, I keep saying this is the best season so far, but they go back to its roots stuff. So and yeah, you'll get to it, because like, even there's like a emotional weight in the show that's like fascinating. That's like, it's not just like someone just going trauma dumping on this. Mark, I understand when he's with the blue costumes, like, yeah, this is gonna be some of his darker stories, and it is, but not in a way where I just feel like I feel sad for him, but at the same time, it's just like they show also levels of maturity, even other people's relationships, to a point where like, this is realistic and not like, you're doing with fantastical characters, but the way people are responding is realistic and human, and but in a mature way, not a CW soap opera way. That's where that's where I feel like that's just good writing, but balancing out your show. But yeah, aside from that, Conquest is here. The Invincible War is over. The ramifications will move on. But yeah, make sure you guys hit the subscribe button, comment, like, and share. Let us know your thoughts on this episode, and also be ready for next week for the finale of